Can't be on YouTube. Just going to do a preview. Hello, folks. Hello, we're live. Live now with Tina Desiree Berg. Hi, Tina.
Hey, Jen, how are you?
Doing good. Tina, I don't even think I told you. Did I tell you that I got a cat?
No. Uh-oh. I'm not sure how Hypatia is going to feel about that.
I know. Well, we've been trying to get her and my little beagle dog friends, and they're making progress.
Oh, good.
They were a little anxious around each other at first, but here we are. It's Wednesday. I don't know. Well, you've been up to a lot. Talk about your videos while some more people trickle in. One is up and one is almost.
So yeah. All right. So, well, I think the one we're waiting to release probably later today is on Danny Rodriguez. Yes. Is that the other one? It hasn't been released yet, right, Colin?
Yeah, it hasn't been released yet. Probably tomorrow at some point.
Oh, okay. So Danny was basically, he was one of the individuals that attacked a police officer during January 6th Capitol insurrection. He is the one that used a stun gun multiple times and Fanon's neck. But he's a local here from Fontana, California. He was a regular at the Beverly Hills protests. But his transcript was released last week, or actually was filed. The defense attorney filed it with the court. And it's a really wild FBI interview where he basically calls himself a piece of shit. He calls himself stupid. The FBI actually uses BLM and Antifa as a means to try to get him to talk, saying that BLM and Antifa are writing your story right now. Do you want to write a new story with us today? So it reads like a melodrama. It's a wild,
what a world, man.
It's wild stuff. Yeah. So, but here's a guy who basically said he was very much radicalized by online conservative media, which is what we're going to be talking about today.
Exactly. Yeah.
He references Steven Crowder. He references InfoWars. And some others, and he said that he was convinced to believe the conspiracy theory that Trump won the election based on just getting this heavy, steady diet of this stuff.
Sure. Wow. And I think that's happening to a lot of people. I listened to, if I didn't feel well, whatever day that was, yesterday. And so I was laying down and I didn't want to sleep, but I wanted to listen to something. So I ended up listening to the entire series of this podcast on Audible. And I think it's an Audible exclusive podcast, but it's free on Audible. And it's called Radicalized. And it's about Adam Waffen. And he was like, when that was first being formed, he like hooked up with the guy who kind of started it. So it goes through his radicalization, which is what it is. People get stuck in the mindset of like you can only be radicalized by Islam or whatever. But it's definitely happening here. And so it takes you through that journey, like white nationalism, Adam Waffen. But then it's crazy. He has this awakening. I don't want to spoil it for people, but it's a nuts.
I actually want to listen to this.
Yeah.
Sometimes
he has an awakening and basically switch teams, but in the very wrong way. It ends terribly. So, but it's fascinating and important, I think, for people to understand what happens.
Absolutely.
The 4chans, it's and then there are these entry points like Steven Crowder or Cernovich or whatever. And some entry points that we'll be talking about, including the Epoch Times or Epic Times. We can't decide which way we're going to say it.
They're not epic, so I'm calling them Epoch.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Epoch. Yeah, Epic sounds too epic. So we're going to be, if people are intrigued by the headline, we're not going to reveal too much here. Direct to the point. YouTube doesn't allow discussion like what we're going to talk about. So today we're doing our Rockfin exclusive stream, rockfin.com/statuscoup. If you're a Rockfin premium member, you can pop over there. We're just doing the short stream today here on YouTube. It's what we do, kind of a preview on. It will typically be Fridays now, but because Jordan and Colin are going to be in the field the rest of the week, it's today. So rockfin.com/statuscoup. You pay $10 and you get access to everybody's premium content. This is completely separate from Status Quo's membership. And that is our main, like, that's our lifeblood, is our membership. But it's great if you are a fan of, you know, I think Ron Buclone's on there, Tina's on there.
Yeah.
The cat just turned off my my light, so that's fun for everyone. Yeah, guys, I got a cat, and now she's
gonna be like Hypatia was when I first brought her home. Remember when Hypatia unplugged all the audio equipment?
Oh
I was like, hello? Kittens and puppies.
Don't play with the thing.
But we allow it. They're fun.
They are. She's so sweet. I don't even know which way to turn this on. So we're gonna like try to figure this out in the dark. Well, it is almost Halloween. So
it is almost Halloween.
Oh my God, what the heck, man? So okay, cool. I will be right back, guys. Tina, you can give them a little preview, and I'll be right back.
Okay, then. All right. So I guess we'll finish talking about Danny Rodriguez. In fact, I would love to interview Danny about this whole thing. The FBI even went on to reference a Twitter account called Water Spider. She's a street journalist here in LA, saying the Water Spider, do you want Water Spider to tell your story for you? And we're having another audio issue, I think. Colin, are you there? Did I lose you? I'm not sure if we went.
I'm here.
Oh, you are here. Okay. All of a sudden, everything went dead. So that's the DJ Rodriguez video. And then, of course, we tried to cover the Proud Boy rally at Furman Park over the weekend. That did not go well. Obviously, they did not want, well, you know, actually, it wasn't even Proud Boys that stopped me from filming. It was Tony Moon and another individual that was there who I didn't know. So, but you can catch that video. It's if anything is worth a laugh. It's pretty humorous, funny stuff. So today, though, let me talk about what we're going to talk about over at Rockfin. So, you know, it's not a big surprise to hear that there's conspiracy theories, QAnon conspiracy theories per se, you know, kind of mixed in with the remnants of the Trump movement that's still going around. The Epoch Times is actually owned by a Chinese group, Falun Gong, who is been labeled by the Chinese government as a cult. Some people may not agree with that, but I don't even think that's the thrust of the story. The thrust of the story is that there's a common enemy here, and that's the Chinese, what they see as a Chinese Communist Party. Trump doesn't like them, obviously. A lot of the right-wing movement here in the United States doesn't like them. So during the Trump presidency, this particular publication quadrupled its following. And they did so by pushing a lot of the Trump conspiracy theories. And there's definitely a connection there with QAnon and some other things.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to me. You guys in the audience know that I'm fascinated by cults. And the reason for that is because I've always been interested. I was a psychology major, and I always want to know what makes people tick. Like, why? I want to know, why do people fall prey to QAnon? Why do people fall prey to you know, the Moonies cult?
The Moonies. There's a
that's
throwback.
A whole other, yeah. Still going. Well, Trump just did like a speech. He just did a speech with the Moonies, Trump.
Wait, crazy. I missed this. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Totally serious.
Okay, everybody that does not know anything about the Moonies needs to look up the Moonies, because that's a wild story. That's wild stuff.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's crazy. And so what I wanted to look into here is, okay, so we know the piece that stood out to me was, okay, we know Falun Gong is part of or runs the Epoch Times, even though they try very hard to distance themselves from that. And it was also making headlines, as you referenced, Tina, from Facebook, cracking down on these multiple Facebook groups that Epoch Times associated sites were and people were making, and that it was a real. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to try to help Trump win, and now fast forwarding, they've been pushing Stop the Steal. They've been pushing QAnon,
anti-vax, QAnon stuff. Yeah,
it's really infiltrated.
It's really infiltrating. What's interesting to me about this publication is it really just started out as an American publication that would help Chinese immigrants assimilate into the United States. It was never previously about right-wing political movements at all. It just sort of transformed to that. And I think part of it is because when they started dangling their feet into that pool, putting Trump on the front page really just increased their readership by hundreds of thousands, millions even. So they just kept leaning into that, I think, maybe. I don't know.
Colin, if you can, so to give you guys an idea, if you have no idea at all what Falun Gong is,
we should,
It's started off in China as like a peaceful kind of meditative movement. That's a really, really, really boiled down explanation. They
like Tai Chi kind of exercises.
Yeah, like really peaceful, calm. And the Chinese government was not a fan. So the Chinese government put out a lot of propaganda against them, but it seems like they kind of became the monster that they said that they were not. And Colin, if you can play that Chris Hayes clip, that's part of the clip that I sent you. It starts at like 12 minutes and 49 seconds in. And I think this will give people an idea of, we'll take you on Rockfin through the whole history, but also where we were at this point, and how Falun Gong came to view Trump. This is scary, guys.
It's wild.
Master Lee apparently concluded that Donald Trump is a divine agent of heaven sent to us to destroy the Chinese communists.
So part of their spiritual belief,
yes.
And it is a sort of spiritual practice, right? Spiritual group, is that Donald Trump is like a key figure in delivering the final judgment and victory over Chinese communism that they so anxiously wait for.
That is 100% correct. And what this particular
you can pull out. That is so crazy to me. But it also makes sense in today's climate. And by the way, the gentleman on the screen is JJ McCullough, and he does a great job in this video. This Chinese cult is not your friend. But I find that really striking. And we know, like, QAnon followers and others came to really believe that Trump is some kind of savior. And many of them many QAnon folk hold on to that still today. Like, oh, Trump is going to save us on March 20th. Right. Trump is going to save us on August 8th, like whatever. But it of course never happens. But it's that hope. And the thing is, this cult's headquarters is now in upstate New York. Like the Master Lee, the guy who started this, he's not all that old. He literally, they believe in a lot of the same stuff that Scientologists believe in. They're also reportedly very litigious. So this is all alleged, by the way. So yeah, they're like literally taking over this small town in upstate New York. This only started in 1992. It is massive.
Yeah, it's not. I think that's an important point. This is not an ancient thing like Tai Chi is, right? It's it's very much a newer ideology.
And there are many, many millions. I mean, who knows the accurate count, because of course they would want to inflate it, but there are many millions of they don't call them members, they call them practitioners. And well, they can, debate that they're not a cult or say that they're not a cult. And rightfully they can point to Chinese state propaganda that calls them a cult. If not before, they've seemed to have very much sunken into that category these days, by my estimation, as well as by the estimation of some members who have left and come out to tell their stories, which we will go through some of those stories as well. I mean, this is wild, wild, wild.
It is wild. And, I have seen these folks at a lot of the Trump rallies here in Southern California. And the common theme is always against the Chinese Communist Party. In fact, on the wild protests that they had here in January, they were driving a truck around City Hall, downtown LA, with a bullhorn going out the window saying just anti-CCP rhetoric. And part of that, too, is also they think that the Biden administration was installed by the Communist Party. That's kind of sort of part of the rhetoric they use as well.
Yeah, it really is. And so you see this kind of China's going to be in the discussion more and more, whether we like it or not. And we, of course, have the different factions, let's say. For example, whether there's genocide occurring with Uyghur Muslims, and some deny that it's happening at all. So they're saying, no, the Chinese state government is not doing this. And surprisingly, some of those folks denying it are on the left, and it's baffling to me that they could deny it, and disturbing. And then there are people who are very like anti-CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and those, along with, everyday people on whichever political faction of ours, but a lot of this Trump MAGA crew, QAnon crew, are extremely against China and the Chinese state, and really truly believe that our government is like puppets being controlled by China right now.
Yeah, it's wild. And then, adding to that is a lot of these folks don't seem to even quite understand how the Chinese political economy has morphed. It is not a command economy. It's very much a capitalist system. Some would refer to it as state capitalism because it is still the one party in control of the government, but it's definitely not a command economy. It's definitely a free market. Let me use my scare quotes because it's not really a thing. But it is more nuanced conversation than what a lot of these individuals want to have. Like on over the weekend with the Proud Boys, they kept ranting about communism. This is a common theme at all of these rallies, right? Communism is bad. You guys want communism to come into the United States. Biden's a communist. BLM's communist. This communism is. I don't think they understand what communism is. I mean, we can have that conversation, but it is a word that they use to sort of, put everything into this bucket over here. But one of the things they were saying was that I was using an iPhone. So what kind of a communist was I? Because I was using an iPhone, which is like so stupid.
It's the meme. We live in a society. Like, what are we? We can fight against things, but no one can.
Exactly. I mean, not only that, a big portion of the technology that has allowed a smartphone to even exist was really paid for by tax dollars. This was research done by the government, right? Or at least financed by the government. So these things are always much more complicated than saying communism, boo, capitalism, yay.
Right.
I mean, if that is the depth of your ability to understand political economy, you're in trouble. And then you kind of look at these guys and you're like, I would have this conversation if I thought it would go somewhere, but it's not going to go anywhere. There's no point. There's just no point.
Yeah.
But it is a common theme that they have.
I want to answer a question that we have in the audience. HG Spider-Man asks if some of the Rockfin footage from the show that we're about to do will be available for members. I will be really upfront with you and tell you, no, it will not be. And I absolutely hate that. I hate that. I want to make it available to members, but our hands are tied. We're not allowed to based on our Rockfin agreement. We tried. Believe me, we tried. We have this agreement with Rockfin that we get a minimum amount of money in the thousands per month to do once a week exclusives with them. So we are only, per our contract, allowed to do a short teaser on YouTube. That's it. We're not allowed to do anything else, including taking that content and using it elsewhere. So I'm really sorry. I don't like it. The fact is we need that money to be in field reporting. We need that money so that, Jordan and Colin Jordan's right there now in Iowa. Colin's traveling there tomorrow. And they're going to be doing some really important reporting on the John Deere strikes, which it's hashtag Striketober. It's taking off. It is so important that we're there. They're also going to be in Buffalo for the India Walton election and reporting on Starbucks strikes there and other things as well. So this deal with Rockfin, I'm really sorry, but we're doing it for that reason. I'm very upfront about that. So I'm sorry, guys. Maybe we can totally do like a members call and we can talk about all of this stuff for sure. Aspen Follow makes the point, can't do journalism if y'all are broke. Completely agree. Yeah, we can't. It's true. So yeah, that's the hard thing. But we have a good time. Rockfin has some great content on it, and it does give you access to other folks' content as well. It's simply a separate thing from Status Coup, and we were brought on to do this deal and this specific show for them. So I appreciate you guys. Members are our number ones for sure, our Status Coup members. And by the way, I'm wearing my new Status Coup sustainable tee and that Colin designed with the—
Is it tie-dye?
Tie-dye. I love it. Yes. And then we
need to see the whole— oh, I need one of those.
And then we have
That's great.
This, which was designed by a viewer. So cool. This is a tote. But you guys, that is, we switched over away from Teespring to a sustainable green, like, conscience
I love
of
this.
workers.
Wait, wait. Pull that up again, Jen. Show the bag better.
The shirt.
Show
Here,
it.
let me.
No, the bag.
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh, is it the same? Okay.
Yeah, let me find it to you.
It's super cute.
Whoa, I have a bunch to give to Jordan, etc. So that's the design. And he likes the gray background. So this one's the tie-dye background, and it also comes in a gray background. And then I put, although it's too light. Well, it's kind of cool though.
That's so cute. I love it.
So that is at statuscoup.tmail.com. And it's
That's
so
great.
cool. But we're also running a special for the month of October, and probably through Thanksgiving we'll do it. If you are a brand new Status Coup member and you join via our new member site, which is very exciting, you will get free merch. So if you join at the $5 a month level, you'll get a free print. $10 or $20 a month level, you'll get a free shirt. Annual, you will get a free hoodie. So that's fantastic. Added value, and you can choose your color, your size, everything. Once you join, then you just email us at info@statuscoup.com with what you want from the statuscoup.tmail.com site, and we will send it out to you. Fat Damon, the company that makes the shirts, is T-Mill, and I looked around for just a company that kind of treats their workers well, uses good sustainable fabrics and practices. And so they're based out of the UK, but honestly, it's taken less time to get merch shipped from them than it took from Teespring. So head over there. If you're not a member, go to statuscoup.com/join, and you'll be taken to our new member site. We have completely switched over. We're going with a whole new platform. So join for as low as $5 a month, get free merch, and then you'll see what you get at the different levels. So very, very exciting. Actually, Colin, sorry guys, you'll hear me talk to Colin in real time. That statuscoup.com/fall site, does that go to the new site or the old one? Because I don't want people to join at the old one at all.
Everything goes to the new site. Yeah.
Yay, Colin, you're such a hero. Thank you. So what I was talking about with Colin is we were using a certain plugin on our old site that wasn't like working as great. It wasn't as robust as we needed for a member. So I want everyone joining on this new site. It's so cool. We're doing it through Wild Apricot, which if you join there, they have an app you can download and access all of your member benefits. We'll be adding a ton more stuff there. It's so, so great. So
wait, the name of the app is Apricot?
Wild Apricot. So like once someone's a member, they can download the Wild Apricot app and then access Status Coup membership, etc. But the site explains everything once you join. We're really trying to reach 2,000 members, and it's definitely costing us a lot of money off the top to give people free merch, but we believe that you'll love being a member and that you'll stick with us. So I'm so excited so head over to that site, but also I'm so excited to talk about Falun Gong and how they've infiltrated the right-wing media and fueled a lot of these conspiracies, fueled with Trumpism, etc. So Aspen Fallen saying, I can't believe you guys haven't hit 2K members. Here's some behind the scenes. Over time, we've had 6,000 members. And what we've discovered is that people didn't cancel their memberships. Whatever was going on with this software was booting people off without them meaning to. So that's why it's like house on fire. We're running to this new platform because that's, how we are sustained. And it's horrifying to me that we've potentially lost thousands of members that never meant to leave us. So it makes me sad. But anyway, join and check and make sure you're still active on the other site. I do encourage you to go ahead and cancel on the original site and join at the new one, because that we will be keeping up. We'll keep up with the old one, but we will actively encourage people to switch on over. So with that said, we're going to talk about this cult. We're going to be talking about how it's affected our politics. And this is no like hashtag Russiagate. This is like an actual effect on.
This is definitely not Russiagate.
on what's happening. So,
which is why nobody's talked about it.
Exactly. It's a real shame we can't really dive into it on YouTube. So crazy. But we're going to really get into it. And there's some stuff that your jaw's going to drop, guys. Just totally nutso.
Yeah, it's wild.
Join us. Rockfin.com/statuscoup. So we're going to hop off here and go on over there. So we will see you in just a minute. Bye, guys. Oh, actually, just kidding. Fake out. I have to read some super chats. Not provided. €5.
Nice.
Saying, I didn't mean to offend certain people, but could you discuss arguments for and against protest voting for Trump? Sure, I can give you simply only an argument against it. He's a horrible monster. There's literally no reason to vote for him unless you're an accelerationist, which means a lot of people are going to die and it's going to be horrible. So no, don't protest vote for Trump. I simply cannot advise or even pretend to advise as a thought experiment voting for Trump. I just can't. I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, I have to co-sign on that. As much as I don't like Joe Biden, I don't. Mm-hmm. There's no comparison, and I get the lesser evil stuff that sucks that's even a thing, and it shouldn't even be part of our conversation at all. But that's a conversation for a different day. I think Trump is a very dangerous individual.
Yeah,
I do.
Yes, absolutely. What he's doing, he's stoking this to the point where it might be the point.
Here's the weird thing, and the whole acceleration in this thing that you're talking about. Here's the thing. If I thought that having Trump in office again would actually create structural change, much needed structural change in this country, that would be a different conversation. But that's not going to happen. Trump is part of the plutonymy. He's part of the wealthy elites that he says he's not a part of. If you look at all of the things that he did in office, in addition to the fascism, the racism, the white nationalist people that he has appointed at DHS, like even if you put all of that horrific stuff aside, he still hasn't made any structural change that will help the working class individuals that he promised to help. Right. He's done quite the opposite. He did not drain the swamp. He made the swamp swampier.
And when we now have, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say now, I mean, is it really the case that Biden is miles and miles improved from that? No, not necessarily, but he is better. There's no two ways about that. And I think having Bernie Sanders, even though some of you guys are kind of not happy with him at this point, I think having Bernie as in the position that he's at now with budget has also made some changes. I think it's undeniably true that we have shifted a little bit of course, but I think part and parcel to that is the awakening that we're seeing right now in the labor movement, not unit. Mm-hmm. I think that's really important, and that's what's going to push these guys to go even further in that direction. But I'll tell you right now, there's no way that these unions would ever push Trump anywhere.
Right, absolutely not. And when people say,
hope that makes sense.
Oh, it drives me kind of crazy. I could go on around about this forever, so I'll really try to shorten myself. But when people say, "Oh, don't you feel bad that you voted for Biden in a panic?" Like, I am not a Biden supporter. Everybody knows that, but it was literally Biden or Trump. So no,
I'm one of those people that like to hate because I voted third party.
Yeah, well, I voted third party in 2016.
Everybody hates me.
Totally fine. Right. Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. So did Jordan. Jordan and I both made the choice to vote for Biden this time. That's, we've made no secret of that. But no, I don't feel bad. And whenever Biden does something that we disagree with, the post-left so-called is now like, haha, we told you guys. It's like, okay, we literally said that he is horrible and we will all need to hold him to account, but he's simply not as bad. And harm reduction, in my opinion, matters a great deal because people are actively struggling. We would not have the stupidly named Build Back Better plan, which can dramatically positively impact millions of lives very soon if Trump were in office. And anyone who's telling you differently and trying to pretend like it's Trump is better is just doesn't have your best interest at heart, or the country's, in my opinion. John Ward Jr., $5 in super chat, saying, I've been trying to contact you about a huge story. The progressive left has been infiltrated. I emailed my number. Call me. John, I don't know if you emailed. I know that I gave you Tina's email too because you wanted her specifically.
Oh, yeah. I sent an email back to John and then I didn't hear back again. I did have one back from, this was a couple months ago.
Okay. Yeah. And so, John, I don't know if this is a news story or if you were trying to email us. John is openly states that he's blind. So, John, I'll look for that and make sure, but go ahead and resend it. Jen Elizabeth at statuscoup.com is fine, or info@statuscoup.com. So we'll
or is there a better way to contact?
Yeah, I mean, maybe his number, if he sends that, or that might work. Okay, cool. Carl's said, so we have to go to Rockfin. What Carl says, what will you say when we get nothing? Well, I'll say, shit, that really sucks. This is horrible. Let's keep fighting. Let's not be nihilists. That's what I'll say. Like, there's no...
But, I mean, it's so easy to be nihilist at this point. I understand where that's coming from. I do. It's, been years and years of trying to push and struggle for change, only to have the Democratic Party repeatedly make the same mistakes. Yeah. Of course, they don't see them as mistakes. That's how we see them.
Right.
So, and they have lost, they've lost voters for that. I think that's also true. I think the only reason that Biden didn't win this election is because Trump was so terrible. I don't think this was any sort of mandate that Biden is good or that Biden is well loved or any of those things at all.
I think even, normie Democrats are not like, oh my God, I love Biden so much. Now they might feel more that way, but definitely not in the primary. He wasn't even doing great until everybody dropped out and the Democratic Party forced all the powers that be to coalesce around him. So
they definitely had to massage that. That was not a, equitably won race. Let's put it that way. They definitely had to massage that situation. I think, but I also think that adds to the reasons why people are so disenfranchised in the country or feel that they don't have a party that represents them. And well, because you don't. Exactly. You absolutely don't. And that's a very valid feeling to have. But I just don't think putting in a far right fascist is going to change that.
No, it won't change that. I absolutely feel very strongly that it would not. And we've seen that. It didn't. What it did was turn the entire Democratic Party away from the issues and into the opposite of QAnon, which is Russiagate. Not as delusional, but, and this is why I'm so excited to see strikes, because that is what we need. So as Trish in the comments says, we should never give up on organizing outside of electoral politics. 100%.
I agree. I think that's more important, actually.
Yeah.
It's absolutely more important. And in fact, even, Joseph, who was the head of our revolution, I remember watching an interview with him where he was basically saying that we had to push Obama, even though these were supposed to be the pro-union guys. They still weren't making the changes needed in labor. And they admitted to that. They said, you're going to have to push us. We're politicians. We're still part of this machine. So really, I mean, it's part of the machine. That's really the problem. It's the systemic structural issues that we face in the United States of America. I mean, the plutocracy is what it is. Yeah. And we didn't get here overnight. It's taken decades to get to this place. But the reality is the wealthy have been able to extract more and more wealth and use that to change legislation to benefit them more. And then they go back into extracting wealth. Then they do more legislation to help them do that. It's a vicious cycle that we've been in for several decades, and it's going to take a lot to undo it. And I don't think people really paid attention to that until recently. I mean, by recently, I'm saying the last 10 years, because this has been going on for decades. And that accelerated under Bernie Sanders. It absolutely did. Bernie Sanders his movement will long outlive Biden's presidency because it has had a lasting effect on the country that's not going to stop.
Sure. Yeah. All right, folks, we got to get
Thank
over
you for
to
attending my
Rockfin.
tea talk.
We could both go on about this for sure. It's such a fiery topic. Rockfin.com/status coup. We'll see you guys over there. Bye, everybody.